It invades, it disrupts, it demands your attention. And right now, heaven is aligning events, people, and places for you, not because you're better than anyone, but because you've been assigned. You carry a blueprint from eternity, and the next few days are not just days, they are divine checkpoints. There are moments in life when everything feels ordinary. When you look around and all you see is routine, the same patterns, the same struggles, the same noise. But beneath all of that noise, there is a truth that refuses to be silenced. You are not random. You were never born to just exist. You were sent to fulfill an assignment that heaven wrapped in your identity and planted in time. You are not a product of your parents' decision alone. You are the manifestation of purpose, choosing to wear flesh. You were born for a reason that existed before your birth. There's something unique, divine, and completely irreplaceable about you. No one else on earth has your exact combination of voice, vision, spirit, and soul. That alone is proof that you were sent, not just born. Earth is not your origin, it is your assignment ground. The real you was crafted in eternity. You are a solution walking in human form. You are the answer to a question that has been echoing in the earth, waiting for you to rise. When God releases a person into time, it is not to see what will happen. It is because something must happen through them. Your existence is evidence that something was needed in the earth that only you can supply. That's why your journey matters. That's why you cannot afford to copy others or chase shadows. When you imitate, you abandon your assignment. When you compare, you lose the clarity of your calling. You were not created to blend in. You were called to stand out. Being different isn't your problem. It's your power. Many people waste years trying to find out who they are by looking outward. They study trends, seek validation, and chase approval. But the truth of your identity is not in the opinions of others. It's in the intention of your Creator. You are not a social project or a random statistic. You are a kingdom agent with specific instructions attached to your life. There is territory you were born to take, problems you were born to solve, lives you were born to impact. If you lose sight of that, you'll start settling for survival when you were built for influence. Even the pain you've been through is part of the process. Nothing in your life is wasted. Not the heartbreak, not the failures, not the silent nights of frustration. It's all part of the shaping of a vessel designed to carry something weighty. Purpose doesn't grow in comfort, it grows in pressure. Diamonds are not made on the surface, they are formed deep under pressure. And so are chosen ones. The reason you survive what others didn't is because you're still on assignment. If there was no assignment, there would be no warfare. Have you noticed how everything seems to fight you when you finally decide to move forward? Have you noticed how your greatest battles show up just before your greatest breakthroughs? That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You are being watched by both heaven and hell. Because once a chosen one recognizes who they are, once they realize they've been assigned and not just created, it becomes dangerous to darkness. A person who understands their assignment can never be controlled by fear. They stop begging for seats at tables they were born to flip over. That's why you've been feeling the shift lately, that uneasiness, that stirring, that voice inside you that won't let you settle anymore. It's not anxiety, it's not confusion. It's the sound of assignment calling you out of sleep. You are waking up to who you really are. And the world may not understand it yet, but heaven has already confirmed it. Your life is not a rehearsal. This is not preparation for some real moment coming later. This is it. This is the time. This is the season when chosen ones rise. And you have to stop disqualifying yourself. Stop telling yourself you're not ready, not good enough, not educated enough, not confident enough. That's not truth. That's trauma speaking. That's the voice of a past that tried to bury your future. But hear me. When God gives an assignment, He also gives the grace to fulfill it. You are not meant to do it alone. You were never expected to do it perfectly, but you were born to do it faithfully. There are people attached to your obedience. There are doors that will not open until you show up. There are destinies that won't activate until you speak. This is why your assignment is urgent. Every day you hesitate, something is delayed. Every time you hide, something is withheld. You don't have to know every step, you just have to move. Because movement attracts momentum. When you step into your assignment, resources find you. Support finds you. Clarity finds you. Purpose doesn't respond to passivity, it responds to action. Some of you have spent too long apologizing for being intense, for thinking deeply, for dreaming big. But what you called too much was actually the sign of your assignment level. You were never meant to fit into average. That's why average never felt comfortable. That's why you couldn't settle, even when others told you to relax. You're wired for something greater. You've got kingdom DNA. You've got eternity echoing inside you. And it won't let you stay quiet. So now the question isn't whether you are chosen. The question is, will you accept the assignment? Will you live like someone who knows their life matters? Will you walk with authority, speak with conviction, serve with intention? This is not the time to shrink. This is not the season to sleep. These coming days are crucial because you are crucial. Something is coming that requires your full awareness, your full presence, and your full fire. You are not random. You are a messenger, a builder, a light. You've been assigned. And once you truly believe that, the world will never see you the same again. Purpose is not given to entertain you. It is given to evolve you. It is not a title you wear, it is a life you build, and no one walks into purpose fully formed. The reality is, every assignment that carries weight must go through a process. Every chosen one must be prepared, must endure pressure before they ever step into promotion. This is the divine order. Skipping steps might look faster, but it always leads to failure. Destiny doesn't bend to your comfort. It molds you with intention. Before God gives public platforms, He takes you through private pruning. Because if your character can't hold the weight of your calling, your gift will take you places your soul is not strong enough to survive. You see, promotion without preparation is dangerous. You might impress people for a moment, but it'll cost you everything in the long run. Purpose requires layers, depth, endurance. God doesn't just want you to arrive, He wants you to last. That's why the process matters more than the spotlight. He's not building a moment, He's building a life. Preparation is not punishment, it's divine investment. It's where God teaches you what no one else can see. It's in the wilderness where your motives are tested. It's in the hidden place where your identity is refined. When no one knows your name, when no one claps for you, when the room is silent, that's where the roots go deep. Because public victory demands private integrity. It's in the slow seasons where discipline is developed. That's where faith becomes more than a concept, it becomes your oxygen. Many people pray for the promotion, but they avoid the preparation. They want the reward, but not the refinement. But purpose is not a gift you open, it's a weight you train for. God will never release a chosen one until they've been formed by fire. That's why you had to go through what you went through. That's why the delay was necessary. That's why the doors had to stay closed. Not because you weren't called, but because your calling needed to be anchored. Some blessings take longer because they're built to last. After preparation comes pressure, and this is where many people quit. Pressure doesn't ask for permission, it shows up to expose what's really inside you. You prayed for elevation, but pressure comes first to test the structure. Can you stay faithful when it feels like nothing's moving? Can you keep your heart clean when betrayal comes from the people you trusted? Can you keep serving even when you're unseen, misunderstood, and overlooked? Pressure is not your enemy, it's your revealer. It doesn't break you, it shows you what needs to be broken. It squeezes the pride, the fear, the impatience out of you. It matures your mindset, it shifts your perspective. Because without pressure, you would settle for comfort. Without pressure, you wouldn't develop the strength needed for leadership. Every chosen one is pressure tested, not because God wants to crush you, but because He wants to trust you. Even Jesus, the ultimate example, was not exempt from this pattern. Before His public ministry, He went into the wilderness. Before He walked on water, He fasted for 40 days. Before the cross, there was Gethsemane, where pressure became so intense He sweat blood. That wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a demonstration of divine process. If He had to go through it, so do you. You may be in a season right now where everything feels heavy. That's not a sign of failure, it's a sign of formation. The pressure is not proof that something is wrong, it's proof that something right is being birthed. Diamonds are made under pressure. Oil comes through crushing. And greatness is not born in applause, it is revealed in adversity. When you stop running from pressure and start learning from it, you'll find yourself growing faster than ever before. After the pressure comes the promotion, but hear me, promotion is not a stage, a title, or a platform. True promotion is assignment. It is God saying, now you're ready. Now I can trust you with more. Now you've been tested, refined, and proven. Promotion is not about elevation for ego. It's about elevation for impact. It's when God aligns your readiness with a moment that changes everything. And when it happens, it won't be forced. It will flow. It won't be built on performance. It'll be built on foundation. God doesn't promote based on popularity. He promotes based on purpose. And when the promotion comes, people will think you came out of nowhere, but you'll know you came out of the wilderness. You came out of the fire. You came out of years of unseen obedience. They saw the spotlight, God saw the sacrifice. They see the crown, God remembers the crushing. Because promotion is not the beginning, it's the revealing. And don't be surprised when your promotion looks like work. It may come wrapped in responsibility. It may demand more of your time, more of your faith, more of your vision. But you notice something different this time. You're ready. The things that used to break you won't shake you. The weight that used to scare you now feels normal. The pressure that once confused you has now become your fuel. You've changed. And that's the point. God was never just preparing the assignment. He was preparing you. Everything you've walked through has been a setup. Every delay had a design. Every setback was actually training. You were not being ignored. You were being developed. Your preparation and pressure were not signs of rejection. They were signs of selection. And the promotion you're stepping into now isn't the end of the journey, it's the launch. Because purpose doesn't retire, it reproduces. And once you understand that the process is the proof of your purpose, you'll stop resisting it and start rising through it. The enemy doesn't waste energy on what doesn't threaten him. He's not disturbed by your current position. He's terrified of your potential. He doesn't attack you for where you are, but for where you're headed. Because he knows that if you ever step into who you really are, if you ever discover your full capacity, your divine identity, your eternal assignment, you'll become unstoppable. So he launches his attacks early, fiercely, and relentlessly, not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous. Your potential carries weight. It carries the power to break cycles, shift atmospheres, liberate generations, and build legacies. But here's the reality. Potential by itself is silent. It's hidden. It doesn't make noise until it begins to awaken. That's when the war starts. The moment you start to think differently, live intentionally, pray seriously, and separate from what's draining you, the pressure intensifies. The enemy isn't reacting to your current circumstances. He's trying to sabotage your future before it manifests. That's why the battles in your life often feel bigger than your current status. It's because the size of the warfare is a mirror of the size of your calling. You're not crazy. You're not cursed. You're called. And the enemy knows something most people around you don't see. You've been marked by God for something greater. You carry a seed that, if watered and protected, could shift atmospheres and shake systems. So his strategy is clear. Destroy the seed before it becomes a tree. Kill the dream while it's still vulnerable. Corrupt the identity before confidence can take root. That's why Joseph had to face betrayal before the palace. That's why David had to fight Goliath after being anointed king, but before ever wearing the crown. That's why Jesus had to face temptation in the wilderness before his ministry began. The pattern is clear. Before purpose is public, potential is attacked. You will often be most attacked when you seem to have the least to show. Because the enemy sees not just who you are now, but who you will become when you rise. When you begin to understand this truth, everything changes. You stop measuring your worth by your current reality and start seeing your life through the lens of destiny. The attacks start to make sense. The betrayals, the delays, the rejection, the heaviness, the spiritual warfare, it all starts to align. You were never being punished, you were being targeted. There's something inside you that hell is afraid of. There's something about you that can't be replicated. That's why the attack was so specific. That's why the trauma was so personal. That's why the distractions were so consistent. And here's the deeper revelation. The enemy doesn't just want to stop you, he wants to confuse you. If he can get you to believe that the attack means you're disqualified, defeated, or forgotten, he wins. Because the real battle isn't around you, it's within you. He wants to wear you down emotionally, mentally, spiritually, until you begin to settle. He wants you to look at your wounds and start questioning your worth. But hear this clearly. Your battle is not proof of your weakness. It is confirmation of your potential. You were born with a divine blueprint. Heaven placed an assignment inside of you that hell cannot decode, but it can detect the signal. That's why you've been under pressure before the promise ever showed up. The enemy wants you tired before the breakthrough. He wants you to give up while you're still being formed. But what he didn't count on was your resilience. What he didn't expect was that every time he hit you, you grew deeper roots. What he didn't plan for was your praise in the middle of pain. Every attack that was meant to destroy you only served to develop you. You're not fighting for survival, you're fighting for destiny. This isn't just about today's struggle. This is about tomorrow's glory. The enemy has seen the ripple effect of your obedience. He knows that if you stay the course, you'll influence others, inspire movement, shift mindsets, and carry light into dark places. So he tries to make you forget who you are. He sends people to question your value. He sends delays to break your spirit. He sends voices to twist your identity, because if he can stop you from believing, he doesn't even need to bind you. You'll bind yourself. But chosen ones don't fold under fire, they forge in it. You may bend, but you won't break. Because what's in you is not just potential, it's prophetic. It's been spoken over your life. It's been confirmed in private. It's been covered by grace, and though you may feel pressed on every side, you are not crushed. Though you may be struck down, you are not destroyed, because your potential is protected by purpose. Heaven does not invest where there is no return. This is why your vision feels so heavy, it's big. This is why your heart feels so burdened. You're carrying more than you know. This is why restlessness has followed you. You are not made for comfort. You are made for impact. And the enemy knows that once you stop doubting and start declaring, once you stop hiding and start stepping forward, it's over for him. Because when a chosen one wakes up to their potential, they become a weapon of mass disruption to the kingdom of darkness. So don't be discouraged by the attack. Recognize it, discern it. Stand in the middle of it and declare, if the enemy is coming this hard, it must mean something big is coming next. You're not being destroyed, you're being discovered. The pressure is revealing the promise. The storm is uncovering your strength, and the warfare is confirmation that you are exactly who God said you are. Don't shrink. Don't silence your roar. Don't retreat into comfort just to avoid the conflict. You're not fighting for your life, you're fighting for purpose. And it's worth every scar. Because when your potential manifests, generations will benefit. And that's what the enemy is really afraid of. Not just you, but the impact that's coming through you. Your future is not a mystery waiting to surprise you. It is a result waiting to be shaped by your decisions. Tomorrow does not arrive randomly. It is built one choice at a time by what you decide today. And that is why life demands intentionality. Every decision you make is a seed, and that seed will produce fruit. Good or bad, bitter or sweet. You cannot expect a harvest of greatness from a field of compromise. You cannot expect to walk in purpose if your daily decisions betray that purpose. God created time as the platform for decisions. Eternity is already complete, already finished, already perfected. But time is where we are tested. Time is where we are shaped. And time is where our decisions unlock what was already written in the Spirit. That's why you cannot take your decisions lightly. What you choose today doesn't just affect your feelings, it affects your future. It shapes your tomorrow. It decides what kind of person you are becoming. Your choices are forming your identity, confirming your discipline, and constructing your destiny. There are moments when you will be offered convenience, comfort, or compromise, and it will seem small, it will feel harmless. But that's the deception. The enemy doesn't destroy destiny overnight. He weakens it slowly, one poor decision at a time, one lie entertained, one boundary crossed, one habit tolerated, until you look up and you're miles away from the purpose you once prayed for. The enemy knows that the easiest way to sabotage your future is to distract your present. If he can make you focus only on how you feel right now, he can disconnect you from the future you're meant to walk in. That's why vision is so important. When you have vision, you understand that every decision is connected to something bigger than today. You don't just live for the moment, you live for the mission. You begin to ask different questions. Will this help me grow? Does this align with my purpose? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Because you realize that every yes costs you something. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your energy on things that have no eternal return. There's a difference between being busy and being effective. Purpose demands focus. Destiny demands discipline. You don't drift into greatness. You decide your way into it. You choose to get up early when your body wants more sleep. You choose to pray when it feels easier to scroll. You choose to speak life when negativity surrounds you. These are the small unseen decisions that no one applauds, but heaven notices. These are the decisions that separate the chosen from the casual, because elevation is not accidental, it is intentional. And if you want a different tomorrow, you must start making different decisions today. Many people are waiting on a breakthrough, but God is waiting on a decision. He's already given the vision. He's already confirmed the assignment. But He will not override your will. You must decide to move. Decide to break the pattern. Decide to forgive. Decide to stop delaying what you know you were born to do. Nothing changes until you change. Your life is a reflection of your priorities, not just your potential. And potential without decision leads to frustration. It leaves you with dreams that never become reality. Look at every great man or woman in Scripture. Their elevation started with a decision. Abraham decided to leave his father's house, not knowing where he was going, but trusting the voice of God. Moses decided to turn aside and investigate the burning bush. One decision that activated his divine assignment. Esther decided to approach the king, risking her life for her people. Jesus decided to endure the cross, not because it felt good, but because it fulfilled purpose. Purpose-driven people make hard decisions that lead to holy outcomes. They understand that comfort is temporary, but calling is eternal. Decisions are doors. Some open you to favor, while others open you to failure. But here's the truth, even indecision is a decision. Choosing to wait, choosing to do nothing, choosing to procrastinate, all of that is a decision to delay purpose. And delays have a cost. Every season has an assignment. And when you miss your season, you don't just lose time, you risk losing opportunities that were tailored for your obedience. God is merciful, but time is not. Time keeps moving whether you decide or not. So you must treat your decisions with urgency, with prayer and with clarity. Some of you are standing at a crossroads right now. You feel the tension between who you've been and who you are becoming. You're battling between the easy thing and the right thing. You're tempted to settle because the fight is exhausting. But let me tell you, don't give in. Your decisions today are shaping more than just your story. They're shaping your legacy. The generations coming after you will be affected by what you choose to do in this moment. Your obedience today can break chains your children never have to face. Your yes today can unlock blessings you haven't even prayed for yet. You don't need 1,000 steps, you just need the next right one. That's how God works. He leads by light, not lightning. One decision at a time. One act of faith. One disciplined step. And every time you obey, the next step becomes clearer. The problem is that many people are waiting for clarity before they make a move. But in the kingdom, clarity often comes after obedience. The water doesn't part until your foot touches it. The breakthrough doesn't come until you believe it. Faith-filled decisions open supernatural doors. The truth is, the life you're living today is the result of the decisions you made yesterday, and the life you live tomorrow will reflect the decisions you're making right now. So choose wisely. Choose purpose over popularity. Choose faith over fear. Choose obedience over opinion. Choose vision over vanity. Choose calling over comfort. Because your destiny deserves it. You deserve it. And heaven is waiting on your decision to move. Before God elevates a man or woman, He often separates them. Separation is not punishment, it is preparation. It's not rejection, it's refinement. When heaven is ready to take you to the next level, it will often remove you from environments, people, and patterns that no longer serve the purpose that is being birthed in you. Elevation demands clarity, it demands purity. It demands that you are no longer entangled with distractions that dilute your destiny. Separation is how God purifies your focus and sharpens your identity. It's how He makes sure that when He raises you, the noise around you won't drown out the voice within you. There are some seasons where God will isolate you, not because He's forsaken you, but because He's trying to form you. The call on your life is too big to be surrounded by people who think small. The vision is too heavy to carry it with those who don't understand its weight. So He begins to strip things away. The phone stops ringing. The invitations stop coming. The familiar circles close. You start to feel alone, but you're not alone. You are in the chamber of transformation. And the same God who called you out is the one who will call you up. You don't get to elevation without the pain of separation. It is the price of growth. Because what once fed you in a former season may poison you in the next. What once covered you may now be capping you. God will not allow your future to be contaminated by attachments that were only meant to be temporary. And that's where the pain comes in. Because sometimes the very thing you're asked to walk away from is something you once prayed for. But just because something was right for your past doesn't mean it belongs in your future. Abraham had to leave his father's house before he could become the father of nations. Joseph had to be separated from his brothers before he could rule Egypt. Moses had to leave the palace before he could lead the people. David had to be hidden in caves before he could wear the crown. Jesus had to go into the wilderness before he could walk in his ministry. There is a divine pattern. Separation is a setup. God separates before He sends. He hides before He reveals. He cleanses before He crowns. The wilderness is not a curse, it's a classroom. It's where God teaches you to depend on Him. It's where you learn that identity is not rooted in affirmation or applause. It's where you discover that when everything else is stripped away, His presence is still enough. The wilderness is where your oil is produced. It's where your voice is refined. It's where your roots grow deep. And until you can walk with God in secret, you're not ready to represent Him in public. Some relationships have to die so your purpose can live. Some environments have to be left behind so your calling can breathe. Some friendships aren't evil. They just expired. And God loves you too much to let you stay comfortable when comfort is choking your capacity. So He disrupts the familiar to prepare you for the phenomenal. He breaks the rhythm to release the anointing. And it hurts, but the pain is proof that you're evolving. You can't be promoted and popular to everybody at the same time. Not everyone will understand the process. Some people will say you've changed, and that's the point. Growth requires change. Maturity requires movement. There are versions of you that can't survive at the next level. So God begins to extract old habits, old mindsets, old affiliations, not to destroy you, but to develop you. He's building something eternal, and eternal things require eternal standards. He's setting you apart because He's setting you above. And this is the test. Will you obey even when it's lonely? Will you walk away even when it costs you comfort? Will you trust that what God has ahead is better than what you had behind? The people who make it to the next level are not just the talented, they are the obedient. They are the ones who said yes when it hurt. They are the ones who surrendered when it didn't make sense. They are the ones who let go of what was familiar in order to hold on to what was faithful. Separation is a sacred act. It is heaven's way of declaring that you are no longer common, that there is something different about your assignment, something unique about your calling. And if you try to bring everyone and everything with you, you'll sabotage the very thing you were called to steward. You can't carry legacy and baggage at the same time. You have to choose. There's a weight to elevation, and only those willing to travel light will be able to bear it. This is why your circle is getting smaller. This is why you don't fit in where you used to. This is why the conversations that once excited you now feel empty. It's not pride, it's growth. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. God is maturing you. He's weaning you off the approval of men so you can finally move by the voice of heaven. He's preparing you to be trusted with influence, with vision, with responsibility. And the greater the call, the deeper the cutting. The separation is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your unfolding. It is the necessary pruning that produces lasting fruit. It is the fire that purifies, the silence that sanctifies. And in that quiet place, when you feel misunderstood, overlooked, and alone, God is doing His deepest work. He's refining your motives. He's resetting your priorities. He's anchoring your identity. And when the time is right, when your character is strong enough to carry your crown, He will lift you. The elevation you're praying for is connected to the obedience you're practicing. You can't be elevated if you're not willing to be set apart. The stage comes after the sacrifice. The spotlight follows the separation, and the glory is given only to those who've been faithful in the garden before ever stepping into the gates. Don't despise the quiet season. Don't curse the separation. It is not the end, it is evidence that something divine is coming next. The call of God never comes when it's convenient. It comes when you're ready. And readiness is not something that happens overnight. It is cultivated in silence, forged in obscurity, and developed in the secret place. Many people wait for the call to start preparing, but that's not how the kingdom works. God doesn't call the unprepared. He calls the ready. He calls the one who has been faithful in the field, the one who has been sharpening their sword in the shadows, the one who has been consistent in seasons with no applause and no affirmation. The time to prepare is not when the doors open, but long before anyone even knows your name. Preparation is a sign of expectation. If you believe something is coming, you prepare for it. You don't wait to see the rain to build the ark. You build the ark because you trust the word. When God told Noah that rain was coming, there was no storm in sight. The skies were clear. The earth had never seen rain, but Noah prepared anyway. Because faith builds in advance. Faith trains in silence. Faith gets ready in secret because it knows that when the call comes, it will be too late to start getting prepared. David was anointed king, but he didn't wait until the crown touched his head to start developing the heart of a ruler. He was ready before the crown came. How? By conquering lions and bears in private, by mastering worship when no one was watching, by leading sheep before he ever led people. God tested his character in the quiet because the call would come suddenly. When Goliath showed up, David didn't need time to get ready. He was already ready. That's how elevation works. It shows up in a moment, but it only belongs to those who have been faithful for years. You see, the call doesn't come to validate you, it comes to reveal what's already been cultivated. Too many people are waiting for the platform to start developing their gift. But if you wait until you're seen to start working, you'll crumble under pressure. The spotlight doesn't make you ready, it just exposes whether you are. And in the kingdom, God will never expose what hasn't been established. He loves you too much to let your talent take you where your character can't keep you. So, He hides you, He trains you, He puts you through trials that no one else sees. Not to break you, but to build you. When the call comes, there will be no time to get ready. The door will open, the opportunity will arise, and the season will shift in a moment. And what you've done in silence will determine how you respond. This is why God tells you to be faithful with what's in your hand right now. If you're a writer, write when no one is reading. If you're a speaker, speak in your room as if the nations are listening. If you're a leader, lead yourself before anyone else follows. Because when the call comes, there won't be time to start developing what should have already been built. Jesus spent 30 years in preparation for 3 years of ministry, 30 years in obscurity, 30 years of silence, 30 years of learning obedience, submitting to earthly authority, and growing in wisdom. He didn't step into public ministry until he was ready. And even then, the Spirit still led him into the wilderness to be tested, refined, and fortified for what was ahead. If the Son of God had to be prepared before walking in purpose, who are we to think we can bypass the process? The waiting is not a waste, it is a workshop. God uses it to strip away pride, kill immaturity, and refine your motives. There is a danger in trying to walk into your calling too soon. Premature exposure will crush unprepared people. Many are gifted but not grounded, talented but not trained, called but not processed. And when the door opens too early, the very platform meant to bless you becomes the weight that breaks you. God will withhold the opportunity, not because you're not chosen, but because you're not ready. He loves you too much to release you before your roots are deep enough to sustain the fruit. He is not just preparing the blessing for you. He's preparing you for the blessing. Readiness is a mindset. It's waking up every day with the awareness that destiny can call at any moment. It's treating your current season as holy ground. It's knowing that obscurity is not a punishment, it's a privilege. Because while others are chasing visibility, you're building capacity. While others are performing, you're maturing. While others are asking for exposure, you're asking for endurance. The ready ones don't need to be seen to stay faithful. They don't need applause to stay consistent. They live like every moment matters, because it does. The kingdom doesn't move on your schedule. When God calls, He expects a response, not a delay. When the opportunity arises, He won't wait for you to start practicing. He wants to know if you've been trusting the process, trusting the silence, trusting the vision, even when nothing around you looks like what He said. The oil you carry is proof of your preparation, and oil is only produced under pressure. That's why some of the hardest seasons in your life have been the most productive. God was crushing you, yes, but only to get the oil out of you. Don't confuse silence with stillness. Heaven is watching. God is measuring your faithfulness, your attitude, your stewardship. Are you excellent when no one is watching? Are you faithful when it feels like you've been forgotten? Are you obedient in the wilderness? Because how you handle the unseen will determine what you can be trusted with in the seen. God is not looking for the loud, He's looking for the ready, the prepared, the disciplined, the focused, the yielded. So sharpen your gift, strengthen your faith, train in private, fast in silence, study in secret, worship in the shadows. Because when the call comes, it won't ask if you're available, it will demand that you be ready. And when you're ready, the moment won't intimidate you, the opportunity won't overwhelm you. Because you'll know you didn't just wait for this, you prepared for this. You didn't just pray for it, you positioned yourself for it. And when preparation meets purpose, destiny unfolds. So when the call comes, and it will come, don't let it find you scrambling, second-guessing or shrinking. Let it find you ready. Let it find you already walking in excellence, already moving in obedience, already faithful with what's in your hand. Because the doors that God opens won't wait for you to get ready. They will only recognize those who already are. This is your preparation season. This is your proving ground. What you do now is shaping who you'll be when the assignment arrives. So rise up, stay sharp, stay faithful. Heaven is watching and history is waiting. Be ready, not when the call comes, but before it comes. Because destiny rewards the prepared.